Hey guys, welcome to Keep It Spiritual with myself, Chris Meredith. Now, in this episode, I'm so excited to bring you the beautiful Karen Kay. Now, Karen Kay herself, I say she's like an elemental whisperer. She works with the beautiful fairies as well. You can see right behind me, there's the Oracle of the Fairy deck. And Karen Kay as well was my first ever guest on Keep It Spiritual. Absolutely love. Thank you so much for that, Karen. But right now, Karen Kay has brought out a beautiful new oracle deck which is called Messages from the Mermaids. Now, this oracle deck is all about working with the energies of the sea. Absolutely love it. It's beautiful. This deck is one of my favorite decks ever to be brought out. To be able to connect with the ocean every single day, work with the mermaid energies, and this deck as well is so diverse. I absolutely love it. So many different skin colors in here. There's women and men of every shape and size. There's your mermen right there. There's a beautiful mammals from the ocean, sea life. There's everything in this oracle deck, and of course it's all about positivity, raising that vibration and really bringing that ocean energy into our lives every single day. Can't beat it. Messages from the Mermaids. It's beautiful. I'll tell you what, I've been talking for too long. Here's a beautiful Karen Kay. Enjoy. Well, Karen Kay, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back on Keep It Spiritual. And Karen Kay, you was my first ever guest ever.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you for that, sweetie.
Oh, wow. Such an honor for me. And so cool that we're here kind of seeing each other, chatting now. I love it. Thank you so much.
I know how times have moved on. The first one was audio, was a podcast, and now we're moving on to the YouTube side. So obviously we can see you and the viewers can see you as well. So I absolutely love that. So the first time we was talking all about, fairies and your beautiful oracle deck of the fairies, talking about that. Today we're going to talk about mermaids and messages from the mermaids. But before that, how are you doing, my lovely?
I am doing really well. I've actually been, and I don't know if it's okay to say this or not, but I've actually been enjoying lockdown because it's not been that different to my normal life anyway, because I spend a lot of time at home working and out in nature. So nothing's really changed for me, except the part when we were forbidden to go to the beaches. Now, that was tough. That was tough, but I did still manage to go walk to my local beach. So apart from that, I'm actually great, and I'm in a bit of a whirlwind at the moment, a lovely whirlwind, and yes, all good actually. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. We got to check, but it was. I mean, I've enjoyed the respite of lockdown. The time just to kind of reconnect, to read the books that I've never been able to read, and just kind of, checking with myself and just kind of think, am I happy? Am I on the right path? If not, what do I do about it? So I've tried to use it for that. I mean, maybe you're the same, Karen.
Yeah, the thing that I've had a lot of people coming to me who what I have noticed is an increase in the oracle readings that I've been doing online via Skype and Zoom, and people are finding it quite challenging to deal with we can go out now, but when they couldn't go out. And the thing that I was saying is, when you can't go out, go within, because it's an opportunity to actually discover who we are and really experience our essence with no frills, with all this quietness. And I actually found it quite good personally, but I know it's been a struggle for quite a few people.
No, it definitely has. But I mean, at least, hopefully we're, going in the right direction now. I mean, within that, Karen. So got to talk about, the mer-people yourself, Karen. You connect, with many elemental realms, which I absolutely love, of course, the fairies, but now the mer-people. So what's been your journey with those, Karen?
Well, okay, where do I start? First of all, I'm going to drop in a kind of name drop quote that I'm really pleased about. When I was on This Morning recently talking about mermaids, and when I watched it back, I noticed that what Philip Schofield said at the end of the section, and he said Karen is multilingual in the spirit, with the spirit realm. And I thought, I love that, because he said, weren't you talking about fairies last year, and now you're talking about mermaids? And I did say it's all part of the elemental realm. So just to allay any confusion that people might be saying, well, yeah, she talks to fairies, so what's she doing talking to mermaids? It's all part of the same. So you've got the elemental realms, and within that you do have mermaids and you have fairies and all the different I can't think of the names now. There's lots of different beings within those realms, let's put it that way, because otherwise we'd spend 2, 3, 4 hours just going through all the labels and the names. I work with the energy of these realms. So my first connection with mermaids was when I moved to Cornwall, which was a long time ago, let's say. And I just felt the connection to the land and to the ocean, and it was calling me. It was like this, something in me just kind of burst open in a good way spiritually, and I just felt this deep connection. I found myself sketching mermaids. Sounds normal, but I'm not an artist. I draw matchstick people usually, but these were real mermaids with scales, and I was paying all really attention to the detail. Mer-Men, warriors, they were powerful, fierce beings that were just coming through, and this must have gone on for about 3 months. So that was my first connection in that way, and I thought, okay, I'm going with this. They look nice. And then as the years went on, I kind of forged a deeper connection with them by going to the ocean, and just, it's like they're the guardians of the sea, the same way that fairies are guardians of the land. Mermaids are guardians of the sea, and there are other water beings, water spirits, that are guardians of the sea also, but I'm connecting with the mermaids for whatever reason. I feel an affinity. We all started our lives as little mermaids. We had little tails when we were in the womb, so you know, and I had the realization that mermaids are half human, so the human part of me does relate to that as well. People always say, oh, you look like a mermaid, and I don't know if it's because of the hair or what it is, but I feel inside like a mermaid and a fairy, actually. So I call myself a merfae, half and half. Half mermaid, half fairy, half human. Whoops. Not very good at maths.
I love that, Karen. I love that. That's a beautiful way to describe yourself. That's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. But I mean, with, you know, the mermaids and the fairies, but, you know, there's just something beautiful about that elemental energy. There really is. And it's, you know, it takes me back to a time when you're more innocent, and when you can just be you, and it's just special. It really is.
Yeah. And it is, like you say, it's not for, you don't have to be a certain age. Like, we're kind of taught by society that these things are for children when we're young, but fortunately I've never lost that part of myself, and I feel like you haven't either, actually. Nope.
never
and it's really, it is challenging sometimes to retain that innocent part of ourselves that does have this, it's not even a belief, it's a knowing. You know, we know that these realms exist and we connect with them, and even though we're taught that we're not supposed to, or they're not real, so it's a real gift, really, to be able to have this connection. And I receive messages, like when I'm on the ocean, I'll get inspirations, or when I'm at home, I've created what I call a mermaid bath, and I have sea salt in it, and I light kind of mermaidy coloured candles and have a few shells around it, and I always get inspiration. And you can do that, anybody can do that, by just kind of holding a shell to their heart or to their ear. You can immediately connect with that ocean energy. It's really quite, it's there for all of us. It's not just me, it's just that I'm really, for whatever reason, totally in tune with them right now, but anybody can do it.
Definitely. And I remember when you used to be younger and you used to hold the shell to your ear to hear the sea, but I suppose that's a way, you know, back then we just used to connect and not even think about it.
Yeah,
you know, it is special, isn't it? So
yeah,
talking about, you know, this beautiful messages from the Mermaids. I mean, Karen, I mean, just so beautiful. One of my favorite decks, other than the Oracle of the Fairies, of course. But when I got this, you know how excited I was. I've been waiting for it for so many months since I knew you was creating it. So what was your inspiration, you know, for Messages of the Mermaids, Karen?
Okay, so the mermaids were my inspiration. Ultimately, it felt like the obvious and natural thing to do after my fairy oracle deck. And I was going through quite a challenging time when I want to say channeled, but I'm really reluctant to use the word channeled, but that's kind of what happened, although I was present too. So the messages from the mermaids came through the vessel that I am, combined with my own energies. It wasn't like I got out of the way and they came through. So I connected with that energy because it's very, very connected to the emotions, the realms of the heart. And I was going through an emotional time at the time. And in retrospect, now I look back on that, I fully understand why I had to go through that. And I'm grateful for that experience because it's led me to now. So the messages that have come through are really powerful and deep. And they can apply to any area of your life. But specifically, it is in the realms of the heart and emotions because mermaids are fluid, they're emotional, they're deep, they're sensual, and it really does resonate with that heart chakra area.
It really does. It's just beautiful, you know, to work with them. And for me, in the middle of Manchester, I can have a bit of the ocean energy and the mermaid energy with me. And I wouldn't normally have that. And just to look, I mean, at the artwork, first of all, I mean, not Linda Olson, that's created the artwork. I mean, there's just, you know, one of them. It's just absolutely stunning. The detail on the cards, the colours. I've just never seen anything quite like it. I'm so excited, Karen, because they're just beautiful. I mean, you've birthed these. So, you know, they've come from your vision, which I just love. But just the energy is fabulous. So you must be so happy with them, Karen.
Oh, I am so happy. And to have that, because Linda is based in, you know, the other side of the world. She's in America. And you can tell from her artwork that she is very connected with the ocean. And if you follow her on Instagram, you'll see lots of her amazing artwork. To connect with her over this was such a blessing. It really was, because she really, really understands and gets the energy. So for people that don't know, when you create an oracle deck, you write down the briefs, like the vision that comes through. And so I was getting these very clear, strong visions, and then having to write them down to express what I needed from Linda. And she just got it. You know, she just totally got it every single time. And we did work with some of the artwork that she had already created because it just spoke to me straight away. And, you know, I might have made a few adjustments on things, but yeah, I'm just so happy with this deck. It's so different from Oracle of the Fairies. I love both equally. They're both my fairy baby and my mermaid baby. But yeah, you can see, I mean, you'll know because you've got both decks, the energies are very different, and the mermaid energy is so powerful and strong, yet gentle and sensual too. So you've got all these different elements within the deck, which is just, I'm really thrilled actually. Yeah,
no, me too, me too, Karen. So great. So how can people work, you know, with Messages of the Mermaids, Karen?
Okay, well, the way I normally work and the way I would tell people to work is get familiar with your deck. And I do have a deck here. And I would say kind of hold them and put your energy into them. You can do it like this, or hold them to your heart, or waft some sage around, or spray some, you know, essential oil around it. Ideally, go to the beach. I know that's not possible for everybody, but if you want to connect to the beach and you're in a city, for example, then just go on the internet. Most people do have the internet, and if not, then get a magazine with a photo of the beach. Connect in that way. It's really easy. Or get a shell, like you were saying earlier, and then put that to your ear, and immediately you're transported into that realm. Get yourself in the zone, get the vibes going, and then get your cards out and hold them and shuffle them. Some people like to cut the cards, do whatever feels right, but I normally shuffle them, focusing on the question or what is it that the mermaids wish to tell me, and then I wait until a card kind of slithers or flies out of the deck like a flying fish. Sometimes they do, they just literally fly out. I know the fairy deck is like always doing that, but these ones feel different. They do come out in a different way. And then whatever message you're meant to hear at any given time is the message, you know, the card that you'll receive. So it's very easy. They're for beginners and more experienced readers as well.
Totally, totally. So can we meditate with this deck as well, Karen? How would we meditate with them?
Well, you can either select a card that you're drawn to. So something, let me just try and find an example here. So there's so many in here that you can meditate on, depending on what's going on for you in your world. We can, let's do this positivity one. I love them all, but I mean, I could do 44 easily, but we don't have that sort of time. So I've got the positivity card here. So, for example, if we want to bring more positivity into our lives, or if we want to increase our positivity factor, because I know you're very positive, so am I, but we all have times when we're not in that space. You know, we're human as well, and it's important to acknowledge this and know that we can't always be like yay all the time. We it's about balance. So we can take the card, we can gaze at the card and look at the message, receive the message, ask in your mind for the mermaids to come through and to amplify that message of positivity and to help you embrace it and incorporate it into your daily life. It's very, very simple. It's not complicated at all. Anybody can do it. And it is about working with your intuition, because that's one of the key aspects of mermaids as well. Intuition, flowing, going with the flow, being spontaneous, etc.
Totally, totally. And I love that. And I love, you know, we can bring it into every aspect of our life and, you know, just to enhance our life. And it's great for beginners or people that are experienced with oracle cards. So, you know, with these, you know, being the mermaids and focusing more on the ocean, would you say this is a bit of a wake up call as well for people to kind of look after our oceans as well, Karen?
Yes. Ultimately, mermaids are guardians of the ocean, and I feel very strongly that they're coming forwards to connect with anybody that is receptive and has the same or a kind of passionate love of the environment and in particular the ocean. So they will come forward because that is ultimately their message. They're guardians of it. And the lockdown, it's been good in a way because there's been less activity on the sea. But it is something that we could and should. I don't use the word should very often because I'm from the Louise Hay school and she doesn't use the word should. But in this case, with relation to the ocean, I would use the word we should be more aware of how we treat the ocean, what we're putting into the ocean in terms of pollution, household chemicals, single-use plastics, etc. And be mindful of that when we're doing our weekly shop. You know, instead of getting something that is full of harsh chemicals, look for an environmental alternative. You know, it's not rocket science. It's quite simple, and it will make a huge difference to the ecosystem in the ocean.
Yeah, it totally will, totally will. And it's only, you know, it's a small part on our part to play, really, isn't it? If we just make these little changes, you know, and then that will have a massive positive effect, you know, on our oceans in future, for future generations as well, won't it?
Yeah.
Totally with that, Karen. But yeah, no, I love that. And I love that message as well. So, you know, I've always been drawn to the ocean, Karen, and many people are drawn to the ocean. So why do you think we do have that calling sometimes? It's just kind of in us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in us. And remember, I don't want to get the percentage wrong, but we are made of water, aren't we? We have a lot of water within us. And also we're affected by the moon. The moon affects the tides. The tides is obviously a part of the ocean. We're all interconnected. And like every single one of us started our life in fluid, within the womb. And as I said earlier, we had a tail, and we've had that connection of being in the water. So there will be a deep, either conscious or subconscious kind of leaning towards the ocean, because we are from that. And when we cry salt tears. The ocean is salt. So we have that within us. It is an aspect of us. And that always, I know I'm talking about tears, but when I do, it does make me feel quite emotional, because it's almost confirmation of that connection. So we do have it. And sometimes, as I said, it's conscious and sometimes it's unconscious, this desire to get to the sea and to be close to it, because it feels free, it feels calm, and it feels like home as well.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's nice to think, obviously, no, it's not always nice when we cry, but it is a release. But that we've always got that underlining connection there with the ocean, with, the mermaids, and, that energy. It's beautiful. So what have you loved, Karen, about birthing, Messages from the Mermaids? What's been your favourite aspect?
Oh, well, the fact that I am blessed to be able to bring forth another oracle deck into the world is a blessing and a gift in itself. The messages from the mermaids are strong, powerful messages that I feel, again, very blessed to be the bringer of this into the world. And to Hay House, who have had faith in me, believed in me to do this. It's a real honor and a privilege. And I think one of my highlights it's got to be being on, well, apart from talking with you now, it's got to be being on this morning doing a live meditation for the nation, and that was pretty out there and quite unexpected. And it just is a confirmation of the magic that is around the mermaids, because I really feel, I was asking them, how can I get the messages from the mermaids out there? Because obviously we were in lockdown. I had several events that I was supposed to be going to launch the cards, obviously couldn't go because they were all cancelled. So to have this kind of huge media exposure for this deck and the mermaids message is like just thrilling. And yeah, I'm so grateful for that.
I love that. And I really, really hope, Karen, to have, someone like you talking about mermaids on mainstream TV, it should be the norm. There shouldn't be, that's one of my dreams, is to make, this a normal conversation. People talking about mermaids over the breakfast. Why not? It's only there for the positive. It's only there to uplift, and it's only going to enhance. It really, really is. And you did that morning on this morning, which is just beautiful.
Yeah, and you're doing that as well with these conversations. You've had some fantastic guests, and it is about making it normal. This is normal for us, isn't it? It's not like, oh, mermaids, oh, spirit guides, we're not batting an eyelid, because it's normal, it's our life. And the fact that it is going out into the mainstream, and I was surprised when they asked me to do a meditation, because I thought, wow, okay, this is good. And then I was told I had 45 seconds to do it, and I was like, whoa, but I did it. The night before, I said, mermaids, you got to help me out here, okay? You got to give me a meditation that I can do in 45 seconds. Like, wow. Normally it takes me 45 minutes. So I did it, but it is normal. And for us, it's normal, and it would be nice. I'm not trying to preach about it and make people believe something. That isn't what I'm about. All I'm doing is sharing my experience, because it makes me feel good, it's uplifting, and if it can make other people feel good, and ultimately if it can make other people think about the ocean and their personal impact on the ocean, then my job is done. Or that's what part of my job is. I see myself as a bit of an ambassador for the elemental realms, and I take my job very seriously in that respect. Even though I like to have a laugh and a joke and I'm lighthearted, it is a serious business for me too.
No, definitely. And you definitely see that as well. And your passion is there 110%, Karen. So just before we go, Karen, could I get you to pick a card for everybody that's watching?
Yeah, of course. I would be honoured to do that. So let's ask the mermaids to bring us the message that we all need to hear right now. And what I do always say is it doesn't matter when people are watching it, this show, the message will come through at the perfect time. So whether it's on replay, whether, you know, however they're watching it, when you hear the message is when you're meant to hear the message. Okay. And sometimes they do take their time.
Exciting.
Okay, it is. Okay, mermaids, please may we have a message for the listeners and the viewers. In your own time. Right, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, truth. Oh, isn't that lovely? The truth card. Can you see that?
I can. That's just beautiful, Karen.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. The eyes of truth are gazing upon us, and they're gazing upon everybody who is watching. And this is about the truth, the truth that sometimes can hurt because it's so real and raw, but also the truth of who you are, the truth of who we are, and being free and able to express that, being our true selves, living within our own truth. And this mermaid is like just there, right there. Her gaze is so penetrating because you cannot hide the truth. There's a saying, isn't it? There are 3 things that cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might be the sun, the stars, and the truth. I got it wrong. Look it up on Google.
Do your own way, Karen. Do your own way. It's fine.
But truth, this is the message for us all. So personal truth, universal truth, spiritual truth, truth. Hashtag truth.
Hashtag truth. Yes, love it. Karen Kay, it's been an absolute pleasure to see you and speak to you as well.
Yeah.
As always, good luck with Messages from the Mermaids. You're not going to need it, but remember as well, Karen does have the Oracle of the Fairies deck as well. 2 beautiful decks to have, depending on what mood you're in, but get them both. Karen Kay, you've been fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we are. That was the beautiful Karen Kay right there. What a stunning soul she really, really is. And I love that she's bringing all those beautiful elemental energies just for us. We're lucky people. And remember as well, if you want to find out anything about Karen Kay, or you want to get your hands on any of Karen Kay's decks, it's all in the description below. Now, thank you so much for watching Keep It Spiritual. Remember to give us a massive thumbs up and hit that subscribe button as well, because you don't want to miss a video. Now, until next time, I've been Chris Meredith. It's been a pleasure to bring this to you as always. Keep safe, keep well, love and light, and keep it spiritual. See you later.